Hello guys, welcome back to another tactics video for FIFA 23. I'm Ash, and this is a series where I show you how to replicate real systems in game. Today, here by popular demand after a vote on Patreon, we have Maurizio Sarri's Lazio system, the 4-3-3, of course, Sarrismo, the one that has been just so famous, so enjoyable to watch over many years now, many years since his time at Empoli and Napoli, etc. And we've got it in Lazio form today. Cannot wait to get into the intricacies of this one and show you guys how it is done. But before we do get into that, I want to say that this video is brought to you by So Said Patreon. If you want access to my FIFA 23 tactics package, where you can see ratings and rankings and strips and weaknesses of every system that we do cover on the channel, do go and check that out. The link is down below on top of a host of all other perks, such as exclusive tactics videos only available on Patreon, Discord server access, votes, fantasy football, and a whole lot more. And thank you to all of my lovely patrons for their continued support. You guys are what is keeping the channel going and allowing me to sort of just put in so much time towards the channel and justify it. You guys are, really keeping it afloat. So thank you so much to everyone who has kindly supported me so far. With that being said, let's get into the intricacies of the system. So first things first, with the formation, it is naturally a 4-3-3. We've got a 1 or 2 position changes here. First things first is Milinkovic-Savic. You'll see that we've moved him up to cam. And the reason why we do this is it gets him in more of those advanced positions. It's something that we've done quite often in these videos before. But also you'll find in a lot of the build-up play, in plenty of the kind of passages of play that we do see on display, he will often kind of join in with the front three to help form more of a front four in a lot of situations. And this is the best way to kind of replicate that, on top of kind of getting him into those kind of more advanced areas and pockets of spaces as well, in between the midfield and the defence of the opposition. We also adjusted the positioning a little bit of the fullbacks. They're still fullbacks, but we've kind of moved them in a little bit. This is again something that I am working on, a new theory for these tactics as to whether or not it changes the positions. Not something I notice so much within this system, but the reason why we've done that is just to kind of replicate the balance in which they do have. Sometimes they invert, sometimes they overlap. They're very versatile. So let's talk about the tactics. Now I will say, when watching this team, and I've watched them throughout kind of the last 2 years really since he's been there, they're still not there. With regards to an out-and-out Sarrismo tactic, they're not the same as what it was at Napoli, which was just an absolute joy to watch. Perfected that kind of Sarrismo. At Lazio, you're still seeing those growing pains. They're still not up to full speed. So there are elements in which you watch them and you notice they're not quite there yet. But with regards to the tactics themselves, defensive style is constant pressure. It is a very relentless press, and you'll see that in game. You're definitely in the gameplay above me. You'll also see us keeping the ball quite a lot. So that's important as well. Make sure to retain possession, rest in possession often in order to preserve that stamina. The width is on 30, the lowest you can have it on balance before it goes to a narrow system. Helps us complement that press a little bit, because you can get players a little bit wider and out to kind of the man in possession quicker. And then the depth is on 80, giving you a high defensive line. Again, that complements that constant pressure. You need that high line in order to kind of implement this style. With offensively, build-up play, slow build-up, very self-explanatory. I don't need to go into this too much. We know how they play. They like to go through the thirds, lots of short, quick interchanges, and we compare that with chance creation as well on possession. Again, these two, slow build-up and possession, are what you need to pair with constant pressure to make sure that your stamina doesn't drain too much. The width is on 60. Now, this is what I toyed about with for quite a while, because you're trying to get the midfielders in particular quite close together. However, they do a really good job of kind of stretching the play at times, and they really get quite wide. So I really went for a balance between the two and settled on 60 in the end. And as you'll see from the gameplay, I felt this worked out quite well. With the players in the box, we have this on 6. Again, you've got roughly 4 players in the box, because you'll have the front three and you'll have Milinkovic-Savic in there as well. And that's really what we were working towards. Remember, I have kind of made these adjustments of players in the box now, so that because you have 6, it doesn't mean you've got 3 players in the box. It'll be roughly between 4 and 5. With corners and free kicks, the corners are on 4, but the free kicks this time are on 3. I noticed they like to draw 1 or 2 men back a little bit, and with that in mind, they can kind of play those shorter set pieces whenever they wish to. Let's talk about the player instructions then, starting off with Providel in goal. We've got him on comes to crosses and sweeper keeper. Very self-explanatory again and obvious, because when you are playing such a high line and an aggressive system with that kind of extreme press, you're going to need someone to play as a sweeper keeper really, and obviously comes across as well, just to help you out within those cross situations and relieve a bit of pressure from you. With the two centre backs, you don't need to change anything, so leave them as they are. And then with the fullbacks, we have both of these on the same instructions. They're both on join the attack, as they will kind of support those attacking moves, but their run types are mixed, something we've not done before, to have both of them on mixed attack. The reason why is that they do a bit of both. Sometimes they invert, they help support the central midfield, they kind of fill in the space that is left by the winger, who will stretch the play and they kind of run into those gaps. But sometimes then when the winger inverts with the ball, they will then look to overlap. So they do a variety, and this is very important to kind of keep this on mixed attack, because it gives you that balance when going forward and playing down the wings. With Cataldi in defensive midfield then, his defensive behaviour is cut passing lanes. You have a zonally lane orientated press, and in attacking support he's also stay back while attacking. He'll screen the back four and also look to kind of recycle possession and dictate the play from deep. His defensive position is cover centre. The two ahead of him will of course be dragged out wide if and when they need to, and his positioning freedom is deep line playmaker. This is going to be a great way to get him rotating in between different pockets of space to help you play through him. With Luis Alberto in central midfield, we've got another deeper lying playmaker, but this time does his work a little bit further up the pitch, but not too far, as so he's kind of level with Milinkovic-Savic, who really operates in those advanced areas. So his attacking support is stay back while attacking, because you don't want him making runs in beyond the attackers. But his support and crosses is balanced, because occasionally he does get in when Milinkovic-Savic actually holds back and is the one kind of instigating that attacking move. And then in that case, he might sometimes then get into the box, but not often. With his position freedom, this is the one who's the most important. We've got him on free roam, dotting around to lots of those places. That's the best way to replicate that kind of central midfielder who will still do the majority of his work in those deeper areas, because they'll drop off into these pockets of space, look to show for the ball from deeper and kind of go from there. His position freedom is on cover wing. With Milinkovic-Savic at cam then, and remember it is cam and not ram, he's on comeback on defence for defence support, getting tracking back, and his support on crosses is getting to the box of the cross. Position freedom is stick to position. You don't need him roaming around with regards to free roam, because then he'll come too deep. You want to make sure that he's still doing his work in those advanced areas. With the two wingers then, both of these are on the same instructions. Zaccagni and Felipe Anderson we've got in this case on comeback on defence to get them tracking back. And the chance creation is on cut inside. They like to kind of invert their runs and support the striker as much as possible. That's very much a principle of a Sarrismo tactic, something that the likes of Callejon and Insigne would do in his Napoli days. And these support runs for both of them are also on getting behind to get them penetrating that back line. Their support on crosses is getting to the box for the cross. So finally, with the big man up top, then we have Ciro Immobile. I have to say, this really replicated his role superbly well. You'll see from the gameplay, he's very successful, scores a lot of goals, a hat-trick actually, as a result of this. His support runs are on stay central. He'll be that focal point, that target up front. His role is very similar to that of Gonzalo Higuain's, if you can remember what he was like in his Napoli stint under Sarri, when he of course kind of broke what was the goal scoring record at the time. There are a lot of similarities here. We've got him on stay central, and his attacking runs are mixed attack, because often, yes, he'll look to kind of make those clever runs in behind the defence, and his movement and his kind of intelligent timing are what does that for him. But also sometimes he backs into his opponent, he shows for the ball and looks to kind of get the ball played into him and lays people off. The wingers, Milinkovic-Savic, etc. Just people running in and around him. His defence support is also stay forward. He will act as that out ball when you do look to kind of get to him in a quick transition. So with that being said, we're just about ready to round it off there. An extremely ultra fun tactic. Had so much fun playing with this, and if you guys want to see just how much fun I had and how it ranks compared to all of the other tactics, check out my tactics package on Patreon, because you can find that on there, as well as a whole host of other fantastic perks. Don't forget to check out my video games podcast if you want your video games fix. The links are down below. You can find us on all of your regular podcasting apps. That is the Ash Bros Podcast. And on top of that, make sure to hit the subscribe button and ring the bell to get notifications every time I upload. If you have any questions about the tactic, get at me in the comment section down below. We're now going to go into some gameplay of the system. So with that being said, we're going to round it off there. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. And until the next video, hopefully I will see you then.
Sappiamo che una corretta alimentazione e attività fisica sono fondamentali per uno stile di vita sano. Con il numero 21, Sergej Milinkovic-Savic.